It was supposed to be just another lunch break in the crowded high school cafeteria. The kind of noisy chaos where laughter and gossip mixed with the clattering of trays and the occasional yell from the football team across the room. For most students, it was a chance to unwind, eat, and forget about the weight of classes for a while. But for Emily, every lunch break was a battle she never signed up for. She had been born with cerebral palsy, and though her mind was sharp and her heart even sharper, her legs never gave her the freedom she longed for. Her wheelchair had become not just her seat, but her identity in the eyes of cruel students who couldn't see beyond it. Emily rolled toward her usual spot near the back wall where she liked to stay out of the direct line of teasing. Her tray balanced carefully on her lap as she maneuvered with precision, smiling politely at the few students who met her gaze kindly. But kindness was rare here. For every smile she received, there were 3 whispers, snickers, or mocking glances. Her heart beat with the same rhythm each day: keep your head down, stay quiet, eat quickly, and pray no one noticed her. But that day, her prayer would not be answered. Across the room, a group of boys in varsity jackets spotted her. They were the self-proclaimed kings of the cafeteria, loud and arrogant, thriving on making others squirm. Their ringleader, Jason, leaned back in his chair with a wicked grin. Look who rolled in, he muttered to his friends, nodding toward Emily. His buddies chuckled, and one of them, a lanky boy with acne scars, snorted loudly. Man, I still don't get why she even bothers coming here. What's she gonna do if someone pushes her? Run away. The table erupted in laughter. Emily tried to ignore it. She had heard it all before, and she told herself it was just words, just sounds that couldn't touch her soul unless she let them. But ignoring bullies never worked for long. Jason stood up, grabbing an unopened milk carton from his tray. He tossed it lightly in his hand, his grin growing. Hey, Wheels, he shouted across the cafeteria. Heads turned, dozens of students froze mid-bite, the air shifting instantly. Emily's stomach dropped. She wished the ground would swallow her whole, but she forced herself not to look at him. Looking meant engagement, and engagement meant escalation. Jason didn't like being ignored. With a swagger, he crossed the cafeteria, his friends trailing behind him like hyenas circling prey. He slapped the milk carton onto Emily's tray, making her jump as it nearly spilled her food. What's up, Wheels? You hungry? Here, have some extra milk. Oh wait, can you even open it with your hands? The boys laughed. Emily's face flushed red, but she kept silent, staring at her food as though it could protect her. But silence enraged Bullies even more. Jason leaned down closer, his voice dropping to a venomous whisper. You think you're better than us? Sitting there all high and mighty in your little chair. He tapped the metal side of her wheelchair, and the sound echoed louder than any slap across the face. The cafeteria grew uncomfortably quiet. Everyone was watching. Some students shifted uneasily, but no one stood up. No one ever did. Jason suddenly pushed against her chair, jerking it backward. Emily's tray slid off, crashing onto the floor, food splattering across the tiles. Gasps filled the room. Emily clutched her armrest, fear coursing through her veins. She wanted to cry, but her tears stayed frozen in her eyes, too stubborn to give him the satisfaction. Oops, Jason said mockingly, holding his hands up in fake innocence. Wes Wheels doesn't need food anyway. His friends roared with laughter, but Jason wasn't done. He circled around to the back of her chair, gripping the handles tightly. Emily's body stiffened as panic shot through her. How about we take this thing for a spin? He sneered. Before she could protest, he jerked the chair forward, ramming it into the edge of a table. The impact jolted Emily hard, and her breath caught in her throat. The cafeteria filled with nervous whispers, some kids covering their mouths in shock, others filming with their phones. Jason's buddies egged him on. Do it, man! Show her who's boss! And then came the moment Emily would never forget. Jason stepped back, and with a sudden, vicious kick, he smashed the side of her wheelchair. The metallic crack rang out across the cafeteria like thunder. The armrest bent inward, one of the wheels twisted awkwardly, and Emily's body lurched sideways. Pain shot through her hip as she clutched desperately to keep from falling. The room went dead silent. Even Jason's friends paused, their laughter faltering as the reality of what just happened sank in. Emily sat there, trembling, her chair mangled beneath her. Her lifeline, her freedom, her safety, gone in an instant. Jason, trying to maintain his tough facade, smirked again. Gus Wheels isn't going anywhere now. But his voice lacked the same confidence. For the first time, there was hesitation in his tone. Still, the damage was done. Emily felt the eyes of the entire cafeteria burning into her, some pitying, some mocking, but none offering help. Her lips trembled, and though she wanted to scream, she said nothing. Jason strutted back toward his table, high-fiving his friends, though his grin was forced. Emily sat frozen, humiliated, shattered inside. She wanted the day to end, wanted to vanish into thin air. But as she sat in silence, clutching the broken edge of her chair, a thought slipped into her mind. Her brother. Her brother Ryan wasn't just any brother. He was a Marine, deployed overseas for the past 2 years. To Emily, he was a hero, her protector, the one who always told her that strength wasn't in the legs or the arms, but in the heart. Don't let them break you, he'd always say during their phone calls. If they push you, remember, you're tougher than they'll ever be. But right now, she felt anything but tough. She felt broken. What Emily didn't know was that Ryan had just returned home. He hadn't told her because he wanted to surprise her after school. He was on his way, his boots clicking against the familiar pavement of his hometown, his duffel bag slung over his shoulder, his chest filled with the anticipation of seeing his little sister's smile again. He didn't know yet that the smile had been stolen, that her chair had been shattered, that her spirit was hanging by a thread. But he would know soon, because when a Marine sees injustice against the one person he loves most in the world, there is no force strong enough to stop what comes next. And when Ryan walked into that school later that day, the cafeteria would never be the same.